I want to hear of another a memorable audition story. Could be memorable for the role, could be memorable for what they made you do at the audition, could be success story, could be audition nightmare story, whatever you want to drag up for us.
All right. Well, there's a few I've got on the top of my head.
Let's do it.
So, one of them was just like this was the time where I've learned that sometimes just like the smallest thing can book you a role in an audition. I remember this was a commercial I did. I've done a plethora of commercials in my day and many a commercial audition. And so this was like a year and a half maybe into my acting career. And I get a commercial or an audition for StubHub. And all I had to do was pull out imaginary laundry from an imaginary laundry machine in the audition room and just like leave, just pick it up and leave. And that was the whole audition. And so, I get in there, I'm like, okay. And so I unload the laundry, I pick it up, and then I just kick the door closed with my foot while I'm holding the imaginary like laundry basket. And I booked that role. And on the day, the director pulled me aside and told me, "You're the only one that kicked the door closed, the laundry door." And it's like, that's why you got hired. And I was like, really? I was like, that's why you hired me? Because I kicked an imaginary door closed? And that's just like, I was like, oh wow. How can I kick more imaginary doors closed in other auditions?
And he's been doing it ever since. And they're like, Jacob, what was that little thing at the end? Oh, I just kicked the dryer shut. He's like,
this explains so many auditions.
Yeah, just keep kicking things.
There is no dryer. You're on a boat right now.
Yeah,
no dryer.
Yeah. Every scene takes place in a laundry room. Every single one.
Yeah. That's a great lesson. Those little things, and what it comes down to is you made a creative choice, whether you thought of that just in the moment and listened to your body and listened to your brain saying you should do this, or it was just do you remember? Did you have it locked and loaded, or was that just in the moment?
The kick was not locked and loaded. Well, actually, it was somewhat locked and loaded. I kind of, I knew I was going to be loading laundry, so I ran it through a couple times with my laundry machine at home, and you kind of just sort of like you close it, or like you kick it a couple times. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do in the room. I don't know. And you show up, and you're like, maybe I'll close it, maybe I'll kick it, just kick it.
I love the idea of people who are not actors. This makes perfect sense for everyone who's ever had to do commercial auditions. But I like thinking of someone who's not an actor and they have a regular job or whatever they're doing in their life, and then they're listening to us talking about how you were thinking, okay, I gotta figure out how to pull this laundry out in a cool way that makes me stand out and makes me memorable.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to find some way to kind of separate from the herd.
So you said you had a few stories. What are the other ones?
The other one was, I guess it was the audition where I got to play the most. You were there for that one, Lars. It was for the Scarecrow audition that I did, which was it was actually quite an experience for me, because when I first got the sides for that audition role, it was like it was like 3 scenes. I don't know. It was a bunch of pages. I was in the middle of the woods with some friends. We were camping. And so I'm just like trying to figure out what I'm going to do for this role when I'm in the middle of the woods, hiking from campsite to campsite. And as soon as I got back to the city, I had an audition with you to film this thing. So I had some stuff in mind of what I wanted to do, but a lot of the stuff was kind of like, you can only do so much in the woods with your friends, And so I remember I sat in the room.
That's the old Marlon Brando saying. Yeah.
So I sat in the room with you, and then we really just played a lot with that scene, and we just explored so many different ways to do this, and it was just a lot of fun. I remember I was just laughing so hard at a lot of the stuff we were doing. It was just so much play, and that's really what I loved about it, because it's like I go right from the woods to just like panic trying to learn my lines to having the time of my life putting on a great show with you in this self-tape studio, and it turned out to be a great piece of tape, and it's just like working on the physicality in there. It was like one of my most physical auditions as well, which I really enjoy, really getting to get the movement in there, because so much of film and television, it's just you got your head and your shoulders, right? You can't really move. But finally, we got this role where we could move. It's like, imagine that, being able to move, you know, use your arms. It's like, so it was a godsend, and it was a lot of fun to film it, to work on it. And God, you guys helped so much as well. And we got a great piece of tape. You know, I still watch that tape. I still watch that tape.
I mean, we've helped hundreds of actors shoot all kinds of tapes for all kinds of different projects, but that was one of my favorite ones that I've ever done too. Because the writing was already really funny. You're playing you're playing Scarecrow, which is a hilarious character to begin with, and your physicality is, if a human being could be a scarecrow or a scarecrow could be a human being, you're spot on for it. So
yeah,
and that was so fun. And we literally would go line by line, word by word, move by move, and figure out like a ton of vocal variation, but tons of it was physical comedy. So I would just throw out, you were fantastic for taking directions, because in my head I'm just thinking like, what's the funniest way you can be doing this? And so I would be punching it up mainly with physical comedy, which I personally love when it's kids comedy as well, because it can be bigger, it can be a little wackier. You're not really bound by, oh, you need to be a believable human being. You're basically a real life cartoon character in that show, right? So that was so fun, and kudos to you. The other thing that you did is, I think we shot the self tape, and then was there callbacks for that too?
There was, yeah.
Via Zoom, or how did we?
It was via Zoom, yeah.
Then you came back here. Did you do that here, or did you do that at home? I forget.
I did the Zoom callback at home, but I did come to you guys to rehearse the scene some more.
In between, So you came and shot it with us, and we worked a ton on it. Then you got the callback, but between first audition and callback, you booked another session to come work on it. And then the thing that you did, which is also rare, is from the time that you booked it to the time that you shot it, you came in several times, and we would just rework scenes. We'd find new fun stuff. And you were marking down your script, and we would have like first choice, second choice, third choice. Like, you could do it this way, you could do it that way, you could do it this way. So you'd have multiple choices locked and loaded. So the director was like, let's cut that part. Then you would have like, okay, here's my number 2 funny thing to do. So we worked the shit out of that. That was literally one of my favorite coaching sessions, because it was so fun. And we were, we were both laughing like crazy. Yeah. There's a funny scene. It was at Bubble. What am I remembering about bubble
wrap? Yeah. Because the Scarecrow, we were gonna stuff yourself with bubble wrap instead of hay, because it's so light and airy. And so we had some bubble wrap, just shoving it in our shirts. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So check them out. That's out, right? Ghost Rider season 3.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV, streaming now.
Beautiful. Ooh. Yeah, check out Jacob as the Scarecrow. Have you seen it? Have you watched it?
I have watched it. Yeah, it turned out very well.
Yeah.
It looks good.